Hey guys, Thunder here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. Today we're back and we're building, so let's get to it. Okay, so we are building on the Cypress Terrace lot in Willow Creek, and this is going to be a multi-part build because it is an apartment building. I have moved. This is where the Spencer Kim Lewis family usually lives. I have moved them elsewhere in Willow Creek because I feel like the two lots over towards that side are kind of separated from everything else, so I want to make apartment buildings, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to do the exterior of one of the apartment buildings. So yeah, it's going to be 3 floors, and I think it's got a total of 5 apartments in it. So I'm not going to upload this until it's finished though, and also I'm not going to upload it as a residential rental. I am going to wait and do it as a residential at the end, because I don't know if people are still having issues with not being able to get residential rental lots off the gallery. I know at one point that was an issue. I don't know if that is still an issue, but I'm just trying to figure out floor plan and really just trying to figure out where everything is going to go, all of that. Like trying to figure out about the staircases so that people can get up. And yeah, so I did want like this big roof trim on the top, and I just had to make it a medium wall height up there. So yeah. And then I really wanted some sort of stone or brick for the entire building. And honestly, I really wanted brick, so I got this one from City Living. And this video is really going to be focusing on the outside of this building, and then like the hallways. And then there is a couple of things I would like to add to the hallway because I didn't think about it till later on, but yeah. So right now I'm just adding some stuff to the roof, like ventilation stuff and AC unit and all that. Just the stuff that you might have on the roof of an apartment building. So, and then it was time to add the stairs, and I really just wanted to see where I could put them and all that. And this first one I just put over to the side here, or well no, that was the one from the 2nd floor I believe to the 3rd floor. And I really wanted it to be like big because I feel like up on the 3rd floor is probably going to be the owner of the building. And then just kind of shrinking the hallways because they did not need to be that big, but that would give the apartment building a little bit more space. And then I ended up shrinking the whole apartment building anyway. I kind of wanted a bigger space for like the quote-unquote backyard. There's not actually a backyard here, but there kind of is like a space out there where you could go, and there's a grill and things. And they're just kind of laying out the apartments. Trying to anyway. And these bottom ones are not as nice as the upper ones, I would say. And vice versa, the upper ones are obviously not as nice as the owner's apartment. So yeah. Like I said, just kind of, and these layouts are probably going to change even more just because of the fact that once I get in there and I start doing the apartments, if something just does not work right or seem like it's fitting right, I'm going to change it. So yeah. But we have 5 total apartments, 2 on the 1st floor, 2 on the 2nd floor, and then the owner's one on the 3rd floor. And I did get a couple of dumpsters out here just because it felt like there needed to be dumpsters. So yeah. And then just going to go and look at doors. I did not realize that we was on like medium wall height down here. I think it's medium. It might be tall. Either way, it just, I don't know. It felt weird. And then just trying to figure out where are they entering from for each of the apartments. And just trying to get all of that. And then this one, it kind of felt like he or she would have, whoever owns this apartment would have a bigger, grander door, like a bigger, grander entrance. But I didn't really want there to be glass in the door. However, it seemed like just about all the double doors I was looking for had glass, and yeah. I ended up going with this one from Eco Lifestyle. I felt like that probably was the best. And then I also realized that there was no way to get to the backyard from inside the building unless you went out the front door and around. And with the way that I wanted to do it, that was not going to be like simple to do. So yeah, I'm going to change that up in just a few. But first things first, we need windows, and I just go with these. These are from Base Game. I think I go with these anyway. Yeah, I just go with these. These are all along the bottom. I just kind of place them wherever, honestly. And I'm trying to keep them like kind of symmetrical, like a little bit at least. But yeah. And then I got a smaller version for the top, for the upper 2 floors. So, like I said, I'm trying to keep them at least a little symmetrical. But, and then the front just gets these big ones. Like all across the front. But there was that one space where I could not put a window because there was a wall and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And then on this upper floor, it was like, okay, well, do I want the windows to be staggered or do I want them to be like straight on top or what? And I chose to just put them on top of the other windows for the second floor. It looked better, in my opinion, when they were stacked like that. So, and then this back floor, I think they're all stacked. But, yeah. It just looked better that way. To me, anyway. So, that's what we have. And then, like I said, I'm just trying to figure things out. Just trying to figure out a lot of stuff. And this is where I decided to like delete some walls and redo it and make it to where there is a space to go outside from inside. So these bottom apartments are definitely going to be a lot smaller than what they originally were intended. So yeah. Again, just going to grab the same door from the front. And this is where I realized that it was taller wall height than what I really wanted. But I decided to leave it just because I didn't want to have to move all the windows. And honestly, the windows were kind of looking a little weird there at that point. So yeah. When I had the smaller wall height, it was looking a little weird. I may still have to move them down. But in this backyard, I did put a couple of grills. There's going to be a couple of picnic tables. I figured maybe if you have guests or something, it might be nice to have somewhere to go. And then maybe they've started like a little community garden. So there are some planters out here. And then I did put out some of the marble rings. So there are a couple of those. And then it took me forever, but I finally found the hopscotch. I could not find it, but I really wanted that out here, so I did put in hopscotch. And then honestly, the landscaping for this place was a little interesting because I did not actually want like plants planted here. I didn't want to like have grassy spots where there was trees, so I opted for plants that was already in pots. So like some of this out front, I don't really think that they're going through the concrete to get to the grass and the ground and all that. Now the mailbox, I think you only technically need one mailbox for the entire building, but I was like, okay, well, what if I did this? And then it's like, what if I did this one? I didn't like this one inside, so I just kind of put it out here in the front. I figured it'd be best there because then as you're walking in, you could just grab your mail and all of that. Now this is where I'm trying to decide what I'm going to put down the sides, and I do go for these. These are from, I think, Get Together. There's just a couple of them down the side, and I was trying to get it even. So, yeah. And then the other one, I did not even count at all. But I'm then just kind of looking to see if there was anything else I could put anywhere else. Like, just a couple plants here and there. It just kind of seemed bare, but that's kind of, I hate to say the point, but that was kind of the point. Then I am putting out this bench, and this is from City Living. It just looked like a bench that you would have probably on the side of the building. Just doing a quick save because I did not want to have to restart. And just gonna keep going and figuring things out. The back half of this bottom hallway does become a room with a purpose, but yeah. And then just going to do the fence. I opted for chain link fence back here, and I know that this is probably not meant for use anywhere but maybe in like the police station for the jail and all that, but I thought it was fine here. So yeah, I just kind of feel like they're probably trying to safeguard their stuff, safeguard their garden, their grills, their picnic tables, all that, because maybe they've had issues with that in the past. And yeah. But moving on to other stuff, the railing, I just kind of picked one that looked like it matched a bit, and then just kind of getting rid of the bottom of the two staircases. Not really worrying about the money there, but yeah. And then just gonna get some lights. I feel like that it would just be a generic light in the hallways. So yeah. And then just gonna go for a wood floor. I picked the one from, I think I picked this one from Vampires. It just looked pretty nice, and you're wanting it to look nice for people who are coming in or whatever. Making the stairs just a little bit bigger just because it felt like it needed to be honest. And then trying to figure out which railing matched the staircase. That was not the one that matched. It was not even the right color, so definitely trying to figure that one out. I think I ended up going with this one. It was a little bit closer in color, I want to say. I'm not certain though. I don't even know that the railing matches the stairs that well. And then just going to have some white paint in all of the hallways. Except for this top floor gets a different white paint because I did not like the baseboard at the bottom of that wall. And then that one got it too because I didn't want it to have the baseboard. But this bottom floor having it was fine. So just kind of going for an archway to this back spot here. I really wanted something big. This, I think, is the biggest that we have. And then honestly just trying to figure out what else to put. I put like welcome mats out in front of everybody's door. Just trying to get a different ones for them to be able to show off their personality. At least a little bit of personality. And this top one, yeah, I had to go with this one again just because I needed something. But really all that's left is just to decorate the hallways. And that went pretty quick. I kind of picked the same picture for both sides because I just feel like you're probably not going to have a different picture on each side. Like, I think that is probably too much into it, but I do put out a couple of chairs here and there, just, you know, for people to hang out and all that. I don't really know if people are hanging out in the hallways of apartments, but if they want to, like maybe there's a mom who is waiting on their kid to get home from school and they just want a comfy chair to sit and read in. So just going to put these plants out. And then this back room kind of becomes a party space almost. I think that you could probably use it for like birthdays and things like that. So I just put out a couple of tables. And then they're going to have some chairs. I go with some pretty simple ones. I cannot remember if I keep those though. But I do put in some vending machines. I just put in a few, like the semi-capsule, the hot food, the cold food, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't really have much going on in this space, but it seemed like it would be just a pretty simple space to do. A couple of trees here. Just gonna get some gonna save real fast because I did not want to lose everything. But going to get some artwork on the wall. I really like this mural. And then just kind of trying to figure out what else, if anything, was needed. I really do want to go back in and add, like, I put in a couple extra chairs, but I really do want to go back in and add a bulletin board somewhere to, like, maybe that's showing, okay, well, I have this room reserved for this day, you can have it on this day, but up here I'm just getting a couple more chairs. Again, maybe you're just waiting on a guest to get there, something like that. Just gonna put out some more artwork. Really trying to figure out how to make it not only different, but also just trying to make it feel welcoming and inviting and all of that. So just gonna put out a couple of those pictures, and then I think I grab a couple of plants. Again, this one was a little weird just because of the shape of the hallway and because the majority of the hallway was taken up by the stairs. So yeah, just gonna put one of those plants by the stairs. And I'm not trying to make any of the hallways like fancy or anything, except for maybe this upper one, because I do have this one with like a sitting area, and I have this as if almost really this is like decorated for this family. They've sat there, they've decorated it almost like it's a front porch. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. Also, I think this is probably the owner of the building's like office. They have a couple of couches out here. Obviously they do not keep personal information out in the open like this, but they have a couple of couches out here. This is where they meet with like their tenants or their prospective tenants, and they come to agreements and such. And yeah, that's where I'm going with that. Just gonna put a couple of these plants are really pretty, but yeah. I do grab, I'm trying to think what else I grab up here. I was just trying to figure out some way to fill in this wall. So I ended up grabbing that one. I went through a couple of different things. These things were cool, but just a little out of place in this building. A lot of what I was grabbing was just a little out of place, and I finally settled on like this leaf thing that is from Eco Lifestyle, and I really like it. And I went and grabbed the pictures of the leaves from Tiny Living, and then behind the couch I had a space, so I kind of wanted to put in some sort of filing cabinet or bookshelf. But then I realized I also had this wall to cover up too, so I just put in that painting. And there's a lot of like floor space up here that I just don't know what to do with. Personally, I think that they probably just bring stuff out as they need it. They may even decorate up here for like Christmas and the different holidays, but yeah. I did put out these two bookshelves. I really wanted it to look like it was one bookshelf, and then it kind of looks like there's a lock on it with that upper part. And yeah, that's pretty much the build right now. So I'm excited to get in and to start with the apartments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you won't miss my other videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone.